Recommend it to the House.
I call Alfred Naro.
Speaker, I would like to add my words that concur with my colleague, parliamentary colleague, in regards to the fact that war and conflict is an unnecessary evil. But there are times when people lose sight of the humanity, and so therefore we're faced with this reality. In order to keep peace and harmony to exist, there are drastic measures that have to be taken place. So we end up in this place. Mr. Speaker, I think it's not the place really or appropriate for us to argue about who did what and who didn't do what in this place and in this time, in order to honour the memory and to honour the aspect of the support that we need and want to give to our veterans. It's important to be able to progress this through to a place in which they deserve the support that they so desperately need. Can I also acknowledge Major Rebecca Thornley, who's in the gallery, who led the work with the rest of the Defence Force and the Veterans Affairs. It was a work that I know must have been very difficult to hear the stories, but also too the role that they had to play, knowing the legacy that has gone before them and what they need to do in order to ensure that the future of other veterans will be served by this. So can I acknowledge you and honour you for the work that you have done. It's not an easy place to be. Mr. Speaker, this Act has come about through the Law Commission in 2007, and that was initiated. It is an Act of 60 years, some 60 years old, and as was just spoken, that out of that 170 recommendations, 132 were implemented. And so therefore it was important that in the implementation of that, there were some things that obviously that weren't able to get through, but we can have some confidence, hence the reason why we have the support across the House, that we've worked diligently and effectively to ensure that we've heard the submissions, worked with officials to ensure that we have a bill that will definitely meet the core issues of importance for our veterans in particular, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Veteran Support Bill is now all-encompassing. It ensures that it actually meets the needs of a treatment and a rehabilitation for accepted conditions. Mr. Speaker, one of the challenges is that in the previous Act, the War Pension Act of 1954, and I think this is an important part, I know for many of us, is that it was often silent on the provision of rehabilitation. And the compensation was focused on often physical disability without acknowledging the emotional, the mental, and the need for rehabilitation in those areas as well. So I think that, and I believe that this has been important, as it has actually answered some of the concerns that were put forward in the submissions as well. Just another couple of other important points. I think there was concern raised about the importance of support for surviving spouses of pensions. As part of this package, we've also increased the war, disablement and surviving spouse pension by 5% last year on top of inflation, and we think that's important as well. Mr. Speaker, more than 20,000 modern Defence Force personnel are now veterans, and of the need to have a legislative framework that supports all our veterans. It's never the perfect bill, but it's the right bill. It strikes the right balance to make sure that it actually meets the needs of our war veterans. I, along with others, do support this. It's the centennial next year, 2015, to commemorate 100 years of the New Zealand Defence Force. I've also been working with the Cook Island community along with Poto as well to ensure that we remember all of those right throughout our communities who've served and sacrificed for this. We have put this forward in the recommendation that it will truly do support and meet their needs as well. I commend this bill to the House.
I call Andrew Williams.